11th edition is now officially out, and in this video, I'm going to be talking all about it. Last night, on the evening of the 11th edition launch, I was playing the game, and into the early hours of today, I actually played a couple of games as well. So in this video, it's going to be my initial impressions, what I thought about that game, what I enjoy about it, what I disliked about it, how I feel 11th is potentially going to be shaping up now going forward over these next 3 years. So if that's something that interests you, sit back, relax, and let me serve you up some wafflings. So I will have some images and I will have some videos and stuff in the background as we go over anything. But before we jump into that and I start talking about it, I took my Imperial first. And as you know, if you've been watching my channel, I've been really having fun with Lysander recently. I took the detachment in the Emperor's Shield, which basically gives me the uppy-downy ability with Lysander, running him with a bunch of Assault Terminators. I tried to make it as like Terminator themed as possible for the kind of rule of cool that I like to play with. I also took some of the new units from the 11th edition box set. I managed to paint up and deploy the Eradicators with bolters because as an Imperial Fist fan as well, I love playing with bolters. I love all the DACA, so I took them in my list. I'll show you the list more later on in the video. I got to play against Death Guard, Black Legion, and the Iron Warriors. All the enemies of the Imperium felt Valrak's wrath. So I'm going to start with the actual app and how to make games first and my thoughts, feedback and stuff like that. But if you want to skip to any part of the video, it's all timestamped below. You know, have at it and enjoy yourself if you want to skip this app bit. But I think the app is a vital part of 11th edition now. And as you can see with the video that I'm going to put in the background, all you do is put your name down, your opponent's name down. You basically then can connect to your opponent. You get like a code, your opponent then puts in that code, and you basically start making the game together. Now, the first thing that was a big disadvantage on the app, what I found, is we wanted to do a 2 versus 2. And it's nowhere possible at this moment on the app to do a 2 versus 2. You can only do it via like your name and your opponent's name. Like you can't do it like via Teams or anything. So if you want to do 2 versus 2s, it's probably not the best to link it up with the app or anything. What we did is basically just put the game down as like a 1,000-point game, and my friend brought another 1,000 points and his friend brought another 1,000 points. That's basically how we did it for the first couple of games. So hopefully GW do add something on there if you want to do a 2 versus 2 game, because GW do run official 2 versus 2 tournaments. I know it's not like the main tournament setting, but I really enjoy doing 2 versus 2, so hopefully they improve on that. Another thing that I noticed when it comes to linking and actually making the games together and actual recording stats, which I was a bit surprised with, is that if I record something on my side of the app, then it doesn't update on my friend's side of the app. I personally thought that what was going to happen, like if I recorded some victory points on my side, that it would appear on his app instead. But no, that wasn't the case, and we ended up just basically just doing it on one phone rather than doing it on 2 phones. So it just made it life a little bit more easier. So yes, I get the whole app and setting up games and stuff like that, but I think there's a lot more work that should go into the app to make it more viable and more user-friendly for that overall just more generous and happy bloody experience. And as you've seen again with the video in the background, when it comes to actually like setting stuff up, this is what I really liked about the app. Like you can see where all the terrain goes and everything like that. You can see like what the twist is. We did like random twists in all our games to just make it a little bit more fair. I really like that. There was some things in there which I think I wish the keywords you could click on and make a lot better. But like the actual maps itself, and you can show measurements where that goes and where this goes, I thought that was very, very user friendly, and I'd like to see more of that added to the actual game as well. Like, you know, more details, more information, more of that cool stuff. And as you've seen again in the background, this is where you log all your details, like how many command points you've gained, your secondaries, you know, your primary missions and stuff, if you scored it, etc. Which again, I really like. I like that that's there, and it's just a thumbs click away. But the thing that I disliked is what I mentioned before, is that it only logs it on one phone. Hopefully they do something in the back end where whatever you link with, it actually links it on their side as well. So, you know, you're recording yours, he's recording his, and it just shows up on both devices. I think it's just a more user-friendly experience. And I think another great thing, of course, is when you do link to your friend, as I've seen in the background, you can see each other's armies. You can see my army here, what I take in, all the stratagems I can access. You can see my Terminators, Repulse Execution, and my Lieutenant and stuff. You can go in there, you can see all the rules for these units, what they can do, etc., etc., like what enhancements I've taken. I can jump over to my opponent then. I can look at his army, because this time I was playing like the Black Legion. I can see what he was taking, what this unit does, what stratagems he can do, what stratagems he can take. Again, I think this is absolutely fantastic, and I think it will help people get better at the game, learning each other's armies. Anyway, on to the actual games themselves, my thoughts, my feedback, my first initial impressions, and right out the box, you know, 11th edition is basically 10.5. I'm just going to say that right now. It's basically 10th edition with a few extra things thrown in. Right now, there's a lot of like different things because there's big point changes and stuff, and I know some people are not happy about that. As a Space Marine player, especially as an Imperial Fist, it's working for me at this moment in time. Like, I like Executioner tanks. They only went up by 10 points. Lysander, I think, is evenly costed. So my army, what I was running with, I was happy with it, but I know some of my friends who are like playing Death Guard, who are playing like Chaos Knights, Imperial Guard, etc., they're not happy for where the points are. All I can say about that is that hopefully that's all going to be addressed when we get our individual codexes, which hopefully is going to be very, very soon. Starting, of course, with the Space Marines and Orcs, and then we'll go on from there. Now, playing the game itself and the terrain, there's a video in the background. I want to give a big shout out to a chap called Burn Stuff. He made all this orc terrain for me. I'll include his Instagram in the description if you want to go and check him out. Absolutely fantastic guy. Does YouTube as well. So thank you so much for that, mate. Absolutely brilliant. We laid all the terrain out to try and base off the actual, map that I've shown off before in the app settings to the best we could, but, like our own way. We put all the objectives down. Really fun, really cool, deep striking in, doing this, doing that type of stuff. Shooting, like, you can't basically be blasted turn one now with, everything has like a range detection and stuff. I thought that's really, really good, because one of my biggest grievances with 10th edition is that more or less, if you kind of went first and you had like a lot of heavy ordnance, you basically just got blasted off the board if you weren't hiding your units. And I thought it was very, very unthematic to like just shove things in like L-shaped ruins or behind L-shaped ruins, where this now you have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more rule of cool in my mind, to put stuff there so you can start like heading towards that way. It just gives you a little bit more chance to get into the game before you're just taken out from that turn. Honestly, I think the favorite change about 11 for me is charging now into combat. I've always been like a melee person. Yes, I'm an Imperial Fist. I should be shooting my bolters, but deep down inside, the Black Templar wants to get out. So when I'm running my Terminator armies with like Lysander, my Assault Terminators, like just rolling dice now, and like I get like a 9 and I can just pick anywhere I want, rather than to say, okay, I'm going to pick that guy and I have to just roll for that guy. I really like that change, because I was literally just rolling dice and saying, okay, I can't reach that unit, but I can reach that unit. I'm just going to go for them and just go and smash into them. I really do like that change when it comes to charging and basically like the whole, like just like the melee combat. I think it's a lot more smoother, and I think it's just a lot more fun to do it this way. I know some people disagree with that I've been speaking to, but for me, as someone who loves to play melee in Warhammer 40,000, I thought this was way more cooler and a lot more narrative, because you just want to get in there and just smash someone in the face in the name of the Emperor. Honestly, the only thing I could really think of playing these first couple of games was there's a massive advantage if you bring a lot of units. Like if you have like spam armies, I more or less think you just got to overwhelm your opponent, because the first game that we had, like I brought a very like elite heavy unit list, like tanks and stuff, and only a couple infantry squads, and the opponents that I were playing against, they were bringing a lot of infantry squads, and they just managed to rush onto those objectives and hold those objectives and keep it towards them. So if you're planning to like more of an elite list, you may find yourself in a little bit of bother. I would argue that was the same in 10th edition, but I think in 11th edition it's going to even be more of a thing personally. I think that's the only really bad thing I can say about playing all night last night and into the early hours of this morning. I think one thing that made these games really, really fun and be great games was the opponents, of course, that I was facing, because 9 times out of 10, you want to be playing a friend, a close friend, someone you can have a laugh with, because for me, that's what Warhammer is. Warhammer's not about winning. I don't care if I win. I don't care if I lose. I care about having a social outing with my friends, rolling some dice, having some laughs, and just making some memories. And I think that's what made these games for me, is like playing for my friends, playing like, you know, channel members and stuff like that. So I think that really raised the game as well and made it a lot more fun for myself. So overall, personally, I've enjoyed my first couple of games of 11th edition. I'm sure there's a lot of things out there that still need fixing, that still need working on. I haven't come across them yet because, again, I'm more of a social player rather than like going really hard into the rules. If anything, my criticism lies with the app itself. I think there's a lot more work needed on the app. In terms of the game, I'm enjoying it so far, but of course I want to play the couple of games. Maybe I'll do like a sequel to this a couple of months down the road when I maybe have like 5, 10, 15 games under my belt and I can really like delve into it. This is just my first initial impressions. I'm enjoying it. I like all the new terrain rules. I like all the new terrain setups. No more, I say no more L-shaped. Technically, we just have different type of shapes now, but it's not just those boring setups that you used to see. Like, it's just so uninspiring. Again, images in the background, like we were trying to set ours up to be as thematic as possible, because that's what, again, I like to do. I try and make it as thematic as possible. Yes, that was just like a first initial game, but, you know, when I come to do a next game, I'm going to, like, you know, put plants in there, put some sand on the terrain, mix it in so it, like, blends into the board, so it looked even more cooler, more, like, epic, and more just fun, more enjoyable, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a social, fun game. You want to be having fun with your friends and playing on a really cool battlefield. So, initial impressions, I've enjoyed what I've seen so far, and hopefully this is a upwards trend and more cool stuff happens, and the game just gets better and better and better. We'll see, right? We'll see. First impressions. If you've had a game or anything like that and you're not having fun, if you are having fun, tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like, right? Put it down below. I'm not here to, like, how dare you, you know, curse 11th edition out. At the end of the day, if you've got a grievance with it, put it down and we can have a conversation about it. I'd love to hear what you dislike about 11th edition after your first play session. Anyway, that's enough waffling from me. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching, as always. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that, post it down below. And we'll have a nice little chinwag down there, as we always do. See ya, have a great day, and bye-bye.